The brave helpers of Sparklewood, Pip the Fox and Blythe the Bunny were playing a happy game of tag. The grass was green and the flowers smelled like honey. They were the best of friends and loved spending their afternoons running through the tall clover. Suddenly, the bright sky turned a deep, dusty gray. A cold wind began to whistle through the trees, and the sun hid behind thick clouds. Pip looked up and pointed toward the sky, feeling a little shiver. Blythe tucked her long ears down, sensing that a big storm was coming. The rain began to fall in big, heavy drops. Blythe dashed toward a giant red mushroom to stay dry. There she found Wix the squirrel, who was trembling because he didn't like the thunder. Blythe moved over to make room for Wix under the wide mushroom cap. When the storm finally passed, the forest looked very different. A massive log had fallen during the wind, completely blocking the main path to the berry bushes. Pip and Wix stood in front of the giant log, wondering how they would ever get past it to find their snacks. Pip didn't want to give up. He planted his feet firmly in the soft mud and put his shoulder against the rough bark of the log. He pushed with all his might, his face turning red from the effort, but the log was far too heavy for one little fox to move alone. Blythe saw her friend struggling and quickly ran to his side. "Let me help you, Pip," she cried. She placed her paws next to his, and together they pushed as hard as they could. The log gave a tiny creak, but it still stayed firmly in the mud. Wix saw that his friends needed more than just muscle. He scurried away and returned with a long, sturdy tree branch. He showed Pip how to tuck the branch under the log. "We can use this to lift it," Wix chirped. Pip held the branch steady while Wix prepared to lift. 1, 2, 3, push! They all shouted. With the help of the branch and their combined strength, the log finally began to roll. Wix cheered as the log tumbled off the path and into the grass. Blythe jumped high in the air, celebrating their great teamwork. As they walked further down the cleared path, they heard a faint, sad chirping. Near a deep puddle of mud, they found Bluey the bird. Bluey had fallen during the storm, and his beautiful blue feathers were stuck in the thick, sticky goo. Pip and Wix rushed over to see what was wrong. Pip knew he had to be very gentle. He reached his paw out slowly across the mud, being careful not to slip. He reached for Bluey and carefully scooped the shivering little bird out of the sticky puddle. Bluey looked up at Pip with tired, thankful eyes. Bluey was safe, but he was covered in cold mud and couldn't fly. Blythe found a large, soft leaf and dipped it into some clean rainwater. She began to carefully wipe the dirt off Bluey's wings, while the little bird chirped a soft song of gratitude. With his feathers clean and dry, Bluey took a deep breath and fluttered his wings. He flew up to his nest and chirped aloud, "Thank you!" to his friends. Pip and Blythe stood together, watching him go. They realized that no matter how big the storm, everything is better when you help one another.